back.
I'm back.
In person.
In person, man. Live from Houston, Texas, man.
Yeah.
How we doing?
Doing good, man.
Good,
Doing
man.
good.
Good.
Just another day, another brick.
Another day, another brick, man. For the people listening, we're at Melton's crib in Houston right now. He graciously allowed us this very creative space, man. Real vibey. We got a nice little setup here. It's cool to do this in person. It feels more genuine versus, staring into the webcam. But yeah, what you been up to today?
Man, just trying to get it done. Working on brick stuff. That's an everyday thing. Getting prepared for whatever this weather machine that's that they're running. Getting ready for their project 2024 that they got going for the rest of the year. So, another day. I'm glad to have you in the city, man.
Yeah.
Have you back.
Yeah.
It was a couple days, but yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm glad to be back. We got a little day planned ahead of us. After we record, we're going to go down to a coffee shop, really get behind the keys and start working on the business side of things. But yeah, no, I appreciate you. I'm happy to be here with you, get to see you, and chop it up. So something I want to talk to you right off the bat, to jump into it. Reminders app. I had some reminders about today's events that I had to remind myself of, and I noticed that they had the calendar integration.
Yeah. So I've been, we talk about this all the time. We go through these apps. I like Obsidian. We go to Notion. It seems like it's an 18-month cycle. Like we start off testing these things, to-do lists, Asana, and for some reason we always end up back at the Apple native apps. Yeah. And it's just a testament to simplicity, just their type of integration. So yeah, like I signed up for the beta of iOS 18, and I noticed that I didn't know about the report, but I noticed when I went to the calendar app, all my reminders were showing up there, and it just works, man. It's hard to get out of that ecosystem where they do everything just on point. I know there's people out there who's going to say, oh well, Samsung been doing that, Google been doing that, but hey, it works, it's seamless. I'm even thinking about like completely going to iOS 18, like doing all Apple native everything. I have some domains on Cloudflare. I try to use iCloud a lot. I do the little Apple One thing. So I don't know. How do you feel about it? Have you tried out the beta, or what do you think about it?
Yeah, so I haven't tried out the beta yet, but I just recently moved to the Apple native email app. So I've been bouncing around. I've used Spark, Google Chrome, like in browser, but I honestly just got tired of going on the browser every time. I know it's kind of like a laziness thing. Although I just like the simplicity and cleanliness of the iOS native app. Have all my email inboxes in one, and I know that's, like you said, it's just kind of across the board. Everybody's doing it, but it's just, it runs so smoothly. Like Apple's just not missing. And I think I think specifically with the calendar integration on to-do apps, I think a lot of people, I don't know if you could probably speak to this as well. I have a bad habit of just like my to-do apps just pulling up, right? Like I just like go doom, 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 doom with no other descriptions, no other like details to tie in there. So to accompany it with a due date and then have it sync seamlessly with the calendar app, it helps like functionality, and then just you're reminded often. I've just been in my adult life, I've just been kind of getting better at using the calendar, and like everything from like other work stuff. Like yes, I'll use it for work stuff, but like I'll put stuff like like today's event, I put it on. I need those simple reminders because I'll be forgetting all the time. Yeah. So something simple as like breakfast, this is the time I'll have breakfast, or this is the time I'm going to this location. Like, it's just nice to have, and I think the integrations just across the board, it's only going to be for the betterment of the application. So,
yeah, one thing I've recently set up using reminders is routines, like things like my morning routine. There's a way to set that up and it be recurring. I think that's a thing that I don't know if a lot of people do in their productivity. So I'm working through like bills and stuff like that to also integrate in there. And I mean, with this calendar integration, what are you actually using the calendar for besides external invitations? If you can put everything in reminders and it integrates into the calendar app, it makes reminders even more powerful, especially when you start adding tags, using notes. If you have an iPad and you're actually writing things or adding images, while it's 3 separate apps or 4 separate apps, I mean, it's just, and you throw Freeform in there, which I haven't used a lot, but if you throw Freeform in there, then it just makes it a lot easier than using a Notion. Notion is so counterproductive at times because you spend so much time having to build a system to be productive that you end up burning yourself out. You have to go buy a template, and a template is weird, and it has, it's from Germany or Japan or something. It gets weird, right? So I think I'm going to keep testing it for the next couple weeks, and we'll come back and talk about it here on Brick Talk. Like, how does the native apps actually work? So
yeah. No, I like that, and I'd be curious to see, like, as these grow and evolve with like functionality, like, how do they toe that line between like simplicity and making it work for the iOS, but then like we're talking about Notion's faults. It's so powerful and there's so much you can do with it, but it can be overwhelming. There could be too much, you know? So how does Apple Reminders, for this example, how do they progress as an application and offer, calendar integration? Next thing you know, XYZ, like they start building out that app. How do they get it to a certain point where it's like not overwhelming, but it still favors the native user? So yeah, maybe anxious to see, and like you said, we'll make sure to talk about it again. But kind of spinning here on the topic of applications and specifically creative apps. Did you get to see the Cara, Cara for Instagram for creators? Did you get a chance?
I checked it out. It's cool. It's a cool app. I'm starting to feel like we're entering into a world where there's so many places to socialize that it's almost making me antisocial. I don't know the value of posting a lot or trying to be on all these platforms. I don't know what's the mission of, let's say, us being on a creative app, like with other creatives, or is there some collaboration? Are there people looking to hire people to do something? I understand the essence of wanting to get back to where, Instagram was posting all this art or photography or whatnot, but it's just like we're drowning in apps.
Yeah.
We're drowning, bro. It's like you're on Twitter, you're on Discord, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you're on LinkedIn, you're on Slack. I'm in like 10 different Slacks. I'm in like 20 different Discords.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's starting to become extremely overwhelming and making interactions like this even more valuable, you know? So the app is cool. I like that there's more underground apps that are popping up. Like there's some apps I shared with you, some blogging apps. I use Substack a lot. I'm not going to shout it out yet. I'm going through a rebrand. But it's a couple of apps I sent you just to kind of detach yourself from the norm,
Yeah, I like the Daft one you shared specifically. The email subject line, it reminds me of, 140 character Twitter, and I miss those days, like I was just on Twitter last night and, you can post a whole story on there now for one post,
Right.
and you got to keep clicking like view more, and I do agree with you. Like, we're just drowning in applications. Now, I can appreciate like the niche down, like, okay, like Instagram for creators, right? So like only creators, and you get to share your art, and there's this like world that you can be included in, and know that all the other people in the app have some interest in some sort of category. That's cool. But then again, like, it's proving that Instagram has become a page or an application for people to share photos of them on the beach. Like, it's
Right.
that type of social creation.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of revealing that it's like this application has formed because people feel there's a lack of room for creators and for artists and designers and illustrators. Like, yes, like there's like the hashtag discovery method, and like there's ways that people can get discovered on Instagram, and it's happening every day. But to see this app, it's proving that people are looking for something else, and I think that's just relevant to today's digital world. Like you're saying, we're drowning in apps. Next week there's going to be another app. The following week there's going to be another app, and so it's just like, are these just going to keep spawning due to lack of functionality or awareness from other apps, or are those going to stop evolving? So it's just interesting.
Yeah, I definitely think we'll see more subculture. Like one that I always talk about on this platform is the USB Club. I advocate for USB Club and anything that those guys want to do. That's my preferred. So it's not a social media site, but it's pretty much a social media apparatus, right? So I think it will, because people don't like to talk about this aspect of it, but these are government funded social media sites. Like it's all propaganda. It's a reason why a bad actor like Elon Musk owns Twitter. He owns Twitter, and all this weird stuff is on Twitter now.
Yeah.
The misinformation, the porn that just won't stop. It's just all these bad actors. It's just, it goes hand in hand, and it's a fight for your mind, your attention. It's that extractivism that we can get into on another episode, but it's that extractivism that we as people have to pay attention to, and just be more cognizant of it, and really for ourselves niche down and really build communities, in-person communities, I would say. I think is the best way to safeguard ourselves against things like this. Because even I saw Threads just hit 325 million users. You get on Threads, it's nothing but porn on there too. Or I don't know what you call it, porn fishing or something. Like a woman, she's saying like something ridiculous, then you click on it and OnlyFans, right?
Yeah.
I actually saw a dude on my YouTube feed had OnlyFans link in his YouTube. So like, we're on that treasure island that Pinocchio was on. Like, it's all these. That's what was happening. We're on. We were tricked to leave school and go to Treasure Island where we can have fun, and unfortunately, there's somebody hidden who's eating all the kids, and we don't want to be those. We want to get home, due to the love of our Father, right? And be a real boy. So, social media is quite dangerous, and we should do that. We should do a blog post on brickbrick.us of underground or uncompromised applications that are good to build community. I think that would be some real dope.
Yeah. You mentioned Twitter. What are your thoughts on, a little while ago now, but they removed, or likes are now hidden. Is that a good move just as an overall like privacy sake, or do do you feel like likes were part of the app, or revealing people's likes was part of the app?
Yeah, it's good. I feel like it's good to see what people like before you follow them, I guess, or to get a gauge of who you're following. It's kind of crazy that we think we live in a time where there's all this political strife. It's always been crazy political strife, literally since the beginning of this our great nation, right? So I think people are just like they're not reading. But I personally, for me, I never liked no weird shit. Everything is I'm 10 toes down in design. Yeah. So I wasn't liking no weird stuff. Just not my thing. I'm not into that. You can go directly to the site. I don't know why someone would be liking something inappropriate when they can go to the actual site where that inappropriateness is. And I don't get my information from... there's not a statement someone can make that I'm not going to go research. Right? Yeah. So there's no need. I mean, I might like something to go back to it, but not something that I stand in at that moment. It's just, I look at Twitter, again, we talked about this before, as a reference library to greater thought, expanding thoughts. I'm just not with the lynch mob, so I don't need to know someone's likes to gauge what they're about.
I agree. Honestly, and admittedly so, like in the past, like I've been cautious about what I've liked because I know that me liking a tweet will populate on someone's feed as Braden liked, and then that's how it populated on their feed, And I think it's interesting. It's always been interesting to me, like what people will retweet and like, right? So like what do you want to say loud and proud, like with your chest, right? Like you want to represent yourself, and what do you want to like, which will now be in private. But I admit, like in the past, I've definitely kind of second guessed myself on like, okay, should I like this? I've even done it like, in the past, maybe I have like a little like love interest or something, a little message I want to send, and I'll like a tweet to show that person that something, right? Yeah. So I do think like up until now, someone's likes on that platform has revealed what they're about, their interests. Like you can kind of get a little gauge on like who they are as a person. Now that they're private, I mean, what's the point of it now? Like why do you like the tweet now? Like it fuels the motion of the tweet. Like it's just, I guess, just throwing it into the algorithm more and more. Like how often are people going on Twitter and going to their likes and just scrolling through their likes? I mean, honestly, like if I had to pick a feed from Twitter that I would want to exist, or I'd want to kind of keep, to myself private, just to have some laughs. Like a lot of my tweets that I've liked in the past are comedic, like they're funny, and I want to rewatch them for a good laugh. I mean, maybe like 2015, me back then, like maybe I'd like something, here and there that maybe like something else, but I agree. I think that hiding them, making them private is a good move for the app. I just don't understand the purpose of it now.
Yeah. And I mean, they still have bookmarks. Yeah. I don't know why. If it's something, they could bookmark it, but if they wanted to. But again, Twitter, out of all the apps, is a government ran thing. Like it's running psyops, and it sounds like a conspiratorial thing, but it's obvious. I just read a report earlier today about right-wing groups, manosphere groups, extremists that are running game on people, and people are falling for it. If you talk to probably your parents or your older relatives, they believe a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
They fall for it. They cannot tell the difference in these AI photos, especially with this next election going up. No one wants to talk about politics, but politics don't start with Democrat and Republican. It starts in your home, what you read. We saw that with Cambridge Analytica, the BS they were doing with Facebook. And as far as for us as designers, or creatives in general, we have to be cognizant of the role we play and that we're not complicit in helping these people, these ruling elites, spread this propaganda. It's very, very, it's very serious, and we got to play our part in that. I'm not saying you go out in the street and start marching or delete files at your job, but being aware and making sure your family members or friends don't fall for whatever weird thing is running on the internet, right? So the world's sick-sad world, man. As the world turns.
Yeah, we're gonna continue to give our best effort to push back on it, though.
Yeah.
Brick by brick.
Yeah, brick by brick. Yeah, I might throw one of these bricks in one of these people's windows or something.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, cool, man. Well, I think that wrap it up, huh? I think that's good. That's a solid one, man. We gotta make our way down the road. Go get some work done. This is a good one. Fuck, man. I want this interaction more. I want to get you out in Chicago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We'll rent out a little studio space or do it right there in the apartment.
Well, I'll be there soon. Some odd things happen. We'll save that for a future Brick Talk episode and talk about that story. But for now, it might be sooner than we think.
Yeah, it might be sooner than later. Well, cool. Well, yeah, we appreciate everyone for listening. Hope y'all enjoyed this format. I know we did. So, be looking for this to happen again, hopefully in Chicago. And tune in next week for another episode. Brick by brick.